Today's show is made possible by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all of Manscaped's top-of-the-line men's grooming products. We appreciate Manscaped sponsoring this little Daniel Jeremiah 2024 NFL mock draft reaction. Now, we do plenty of these. We do our own mock drafts. We do news, rumors, etc. We've got all the best NFL coverage you could want right here on Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button so you don't miss out right now. Let's dive into the latest DJ mock draft surprise drop on Tuesday, February 20th. Bears going Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. That certainly is the buzz and the vibe going into the combine. We shall see if when things start to change down the road. Drake Maye is the pick at number 2. I think that's a much better pick than Jayden Daniels, who we'll get to here in a little bit. Don't worry. But I think Maye with the Commanders is their best path. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think is the best player in this year's class. He goes number 3 to the Patriots. I don't think Malik Nabers is all that far behind him. I think both those guys, if that's your we didn't go quarterback picks, you got to feel pretty good about those. Marvin Harrison at 3 to the Patriots. Malik Nabers 4 to Arizona, number 1 dynamic playmaking wide receivers. Now, number 5. I will make note, Daniel Jeremiah does plenty of stuff for the Chargers, by the way. Joe Alt, Notre Dame offensive tackle. No Brock Bowers, no receiver. They go, I think, probably the number 1 offensive lineman this year. One of them plays on the right side, whether it's Slater or Alt. Though you got bookend tackles for a long time. Number 6 is Jayden Daniels. And yeah, you're stuck with Daniel Jones contract-wise for a year, but you just eat the bad year of DJ's deal and get a more dynamic, better player and prospect in Daniels. I don't think you should go number 2 overall, but with quarterback-needy teams throughout the top 15, tough to see Daniels falling beyond that, and it would give the Giants, I think, a legitimate franchise option. I know it's boring for Titans fans, but another offensive lineman, Fashanu, probably even a better pass protector than Alt is, but not as good as a run blocker. Awesome football player. Plug option on the left side. Now you got Fashanu and Skoronski, Big Ten boys next to each other. Bill Callahan would maximize him. All right, number 8 is J.J. McCarthy. And this one I know will be controversial. There are things I like about his game. There are. And there are things that terrify me. For the volume of NFL translatable throws, we don't have a great feel for how it's a small sample size. It was a run-first offense that made it easy on him. We'll see. So, is J.J. McCarthy worth a top 10 NFL draft pick? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Go vote Y or N. This is a borderline perfect draft class for the Bears. Take a quarterback, Caleb Williams, and an awesome wide receiver in Odunze. Love it for Chicago. Taliese Fuaga, I think there's a chance he's the pick to the Jets, even if one of Fashanu or Alt are there. I think they're going to be pretty high on him for what that front office likes. Dallas Turner off the board here. How about this? It's our first defensive player taken. We're at pick 11, by the way. No quarterbacks go after this in the mock draft from DJ. So no Bo Nix. They go pass rusher to help replace potentially both of Danielle Hunter and DJ Wanham. Broncos also going edge rusher, Jared Verse. I like his game. I am not in love with his game necessarily, but Denver does, and so does Sean Payton from his time in New Orleans. They like drafting pass rushers. Verse could fit pretty well in that scheme. The Raiders at 13 take the top corner, Terrion Arnold. DJ loves him, by the way. DJ, I think, is the top 5 player in the class. I'm not that high on him, but it is a first-round grade still. And at pick 13, no complaints at all. The Saints are kind of a weird fit because their needs are probably trench play, and they've invested a lot already in their trench play, and how much more can you do in the first-round range? Honestly, if I were New Orleans, I'd strongly advise a trade down. Get more assets because you're going to need to replace some expensive players down the road. But Latham as a right tackle option makes a ton of sense. Nate Wiggins, I like him a lot. I've been burned by this style of corner before, this lanky, skinny, but high-effort player who's not a great tackler, but I always fall for these dudes. He can play press man, can play man cover. I think he's a great fit overall for what the Colts want to do on defense. And I think a pretty solid cornerback class. Nate Wiggins could very well be CB1. I can't wait to see how fast he runs at the NFL Combine. Today's mock draft reaction is made possible by Manscaped. It is Manscaped who are the leaders in male grooming products, and they have the MVP of 2024. It was a down MVP class for the NFL, not for Manscaped. It's the 5th generation lawnmower. It's not just a trimmer, it's your grooming sidekick. It's like having a personal stylist at your fingertips or wherever you end up needing it. By the way, 2 skin-safe blade heads, the standard one, taking a bit off the top, and a foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It is also waterproof, because unlike some things, manscaping is at its best in the shower. If you want the full grooming experience, look no further than Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0. In this elite grooming kit, you get the trusted lawnmower, Manscaped's ears and nose hair trimmer, and essential aftercare products with the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. It's deodorant for your balls. If you didn't think you need that, trust me, you probably do. As a gesture for the new year, they threw in 2 free gifts, the Boxers 2.0 and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag. Resolutions for the new year might come and go, but a well-groomed you is here to stay thanks to Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code CHAT. Byron Murphy is next up here as the Seahawks add an impact defensive tackle. I do like him. I'm a little surprised the difference between him and a different DT we'll get to later, at least in the gap on the mock draft. I think Quinyon Mitchell-Jad's going to be a very popular mock draft pick. Like, that fits what they want to do on defense overall with their new DC. And Mitchell's an awesome prospect despite coming from the Mid-American Conference. Bengals fans going to love this one. And DJ even kind of said, like, hey, this is a little bit selfish for me. I would be surprised if he got past the top 15 or so. If he does, Bengals skip to the podium and go, thank you, I'll take 1 Brock Bowers to pair with my, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow long-term trio. Jackson Powers Johnson, the interior offense lineman of the Rams. I'm a little surprised he went at 19. But this range, 20, 21, 24, all make sense for him in that general range. Also interesting was Troy Fontenot, and I almost might flip those two. Let Fontenot go to the Rams, play guard or tackle maybe. Let JPJ go to the Steelers, replace Mason Cole. Fontenot, DJ would put him alongside Broderick Jones. That's probably fine, but I don't necessarily love the team fit here. Leatu Latu here out of UCLA actually does remind me a little bit of Jalen Phillips. Less so from the athletic testing, I think, but some play style similarities and the medical red flags galore. Without the medical, Latu's maybe the number 1 defensive player. He was not medically cleared to play at Washington, was by UCLA. That's going to be a red flag for a lot of teams. Cornerback is going to be a very popular pick for Philadelphia. Ennis Rakestraw has some fans in a pretty solid and deep cornerback class. I'd take Kool-Aid McKinstry here, but, I get it, at least. I love the fit of Brian Thomas Jr. in Houston. Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. That is a young, cheap, and incredibly dynamic wide receiver trio. I wouldn't be shocked if he went top 15, by the way. Because if he shows up with the size and speed that is expected, we're talking a 6'4", sub 4'4" wideout. Those guys, unless they run a 3-cone and teams freak out over the DK Metcalf thing, he's going to go early. Speaking of the Combine, who do you think end up being an NFL Combine winner this year? Drop that player or player's name in the comments section. Now, Tyler Guyton at 24 here. DJ pitched the Tylers both play tackle, Guyton at one spot, Smith at the other. I wonder if you would go Tyler Guyton at left tackle and Tyler Smith at left guard, at least for a year, and keep Terrence Steele where he's at. Cooper DeJean to the Packers here. I actually do love this fit a lot. I think there's some burst, like, coming out of his break concerns, but straight line speed, coverage stuff, it's all there for DeJean. It feels like a pretty solid destination. A.D. Mitchell, who would replace Mike Evans in this scenario, actually does make sense for Tampa if they do not keep Mike Evans. If they do, got to go in a different direction. I think Darius Robinson, who could play anywhere from that 3 technique pass rushing defensive tackle to almost the wide 9 defensive end, I think is a great fit for Arizona, and they need pass rushers. With the way the Senior Bowl went for him, back end of round 1 buzz seems very legitimate. Chop Robinson, kind of reminds me of Odafe Owe in the sense that he's a Penn State player with great production, with great athletic abilities, and doesn't have the production. I could see him going back end of round 1 as this Bills pass rush room continues to kind of get revamped. Now, you might be surprised to see Zach Frazier here at 29. I kind of was too. I will also say this, and I made this comment a while ago. I don't think there is any more Dan Campbell player in this year's class than Zach Frazier. If you haven't heard it, you will hear it a dozen times between now and the draft. Frazier's year ended when he broke his leg late in the season. It was late in the game. The clock was running. Didn't want to take the timeout or incur the clock runoff. So what Zach Frazier did was crawled off the field with a broken leg. Dan Campbell, and this by the way, he was already running like 2 months after a broken leg before the Senior Bowl. Quick recovery, tough as nails guy. I don't know if he can play guard like DJ thinks, but Dan Campbell will love him. Who do you want your favorite NFL team to draft this year? Bonus points to mention the team and the draft pick, but sound off in the comments section. Amarius Mims at number 32, the Ravens, I think could be your long-term right tackle starter. SEC boy to the Ravens. That's a tale as old as time. Graham Barton, who DJ thinks would play guard for the Niners. I think actually does make sense. I would love to find a right tackle, though. Like, if they get to Mims at 30, you kind of feel like the Niners are going to trade up, right, to get that right tackle. Anyway, Troy Franklin at 32. He's a tough eval for me because he's fast, but he's skinny. And I think there are some issues I have with the Oregon offense overall in terms of how translatable it is. But Rashee Rice is an underneath threat. He's got like a 5 ADOT. He's a crosser and yak machine. Adding a burner like Franklin, that fits really well together in the same room. So grade the Daniel Jeremiah NFL mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off in the comments section. Other prospects not included. I actually don't love Bo Nix that much. I would not take him in round 1, so I guess me and DJ see it similarly. Keon Coleman's been sliding. Bigger body, not great separation. Jordan Morgan, he's at 33-inch arms, just under it. It's going to be a red flag for a bunch of teams. I like Johnny Newton a lot, who wants to go by Johnny and not Jerzon, by the way. I think he should be a top 25-ish player, barring some surprise testing stuff, or if he comes in super duper light and doesn't run well or whatever. But I think he's a good player. He would not last long in round 2. Andrew Gruber's probably your top off-ball linebacker this year, and I like McKinstry a lot. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Maybe he will test poorly. Maybe it is my second version of Tease Tabor. I think he's still a damn good cornerback prospect.